Yeah, Cheryl, we got a supermoon coming our way Sunday night. You may have heard the term before, but what a supermoon is, it's a full moon that happens to occur when the moon is at one of its closest points to the Earth in its orbit. And the reason for that is because the moon, as it orbits around the Earth, it's not a perfect circle. At some points, it's closer to the Earth. At other points, it's farther away. It's got this elliptical orbit to it. So at one point, it's farther away from the Earth. That actually has a name. It's called apogee. The other point, when it's closest to the Earth, is called perigee. And the full moon that's happening for us Sunday night is happening when the moon is at one of its closest points, called perigee. So what will happen for us Sunday evening as the moon comes up over the horizon is it will look just a little bit brighter and a little bit bigger than a typical full moon. In fact, about 14% bigger and about 30% brighter. Now, I don't want to oversell it here because it's not going to be this dramatic view in the sky, but it is going to be kind of interesting to see, especially if you're a frequent moon watcher. You'll notice just a little bit of difference. And the timing here is pretty important because moonrise Sunday evening is just after 4:50, and you want to catch it as it's coming up above the horizon because that's sometimes when you get a really spectacular view of the full moon Sunday night. And again, it's a super moon. Rob and Judy.
And that is a super moon right there.
Yeah.
You know, that was knowledge. You just dropped some serious moon knowledge on us.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's the latest forecast I have for accumulation of snowfall. A dusting to maybe 2 inches in this area highlighted in white, and then higher totals as you make your way down towards LaSalle and Pontiac. But let's go and talk a little bit more specifically about these different zones. So this one area here across the city, Cook County, DuPage County, down to the Lake County, Indiana, that's where we could get some rain to mix in with the snow because temperatures will be between about 32 and 35 degrees. So that will certainly cut down on the potential for any accumulation here in the city. And that other really big factor is that the precipitation may stay even south of the city and we stay largely dry during the day on Saturday. Now, this next tier of counties, this area is shaded in blue where we could see 2 to 4 inches of snow. That's in my forecast. Even in this area, there's going to be a sharp cutoff from those that see heavy snow and those that don't. Even in this small swath, there's going to be a really sharp cutoff. Heavy snow at times, though, where it is coming down, and we'll get a little bit of blowing snow, too, to stick on some of the trees and some of the power lines. Now, the greatest concern area is this area shaded in purple, over here from Pontiac to LaSalle down towards Gilman. In this area, it looks like there's a decent chance of seeing 4 to up to 6 inches of snow with those snowfall rates around 1 inch per hour. Very heavy snow here, tough shoveling, and we'll have to watch for some of that snow and some of the power lines down here, too, because if it really piles up on those power lines, we could have some issues with maybe some power outages.
So now let's turn to the latest on these rising rivers and when exactly they will crest.
Meteorologist Larry Mowry with us tonight with that information, and anxious residents closely monitoring all the things tonight that they need to be aware of. Larry.
Yeah, the Des Plaines River and the Fox River remain under flood warnings. That's pretty obvious, but it's from all this heavy rain that fell throughout the week. That swath of 5 to 7 inches from Lake Geneva down to Waukegan has swelled the rivers here, and it's because that heavy rain fell in the watershed of both of these rivers. Here's the Des Plaines watershed. Starts up here in Kenosha County, runs all the way through Cook County, and see how that bullseye was right there in the northern part of the Des Plaines watershed. Now, the Fox River watershed is much larger. It extends from just west of Milwaukee clear down to Ottawa, but we had that heavy rain around Lake Geneva and around Cary as well, and so that's swelling the Fox River. So when does it end? When does the river stop rising? Well, in Lincolnshire and Gurnee, it's expected to go up another 4 to 6 inches as we head through the day tomorrow into early Sunday morning. Des Plaines is starting to drop off. By tomorrow evening, we'll be down about 2 inches. Algonquin, though, that's where we're going to see the greatest rise in the Fox River as we head through the next couple of days. Another 20 inches by Tuesday, and down towards Montgomery, another 3 inches by Tuesday morning. This weekend, there are some rain chances Saturday night into Sunday, and some of that rain could impact the flooded areas. We'll talk about those rain chances and a closer look at these temperatures coming up in a few moments. Ravi?
You said it's also breezy out there.
It is, yeah. The winds are starting to pick up out of the north, so as long as you're running south, it's good. But, you know, wind
at your back.
When they turn around and come back up State Street, it's going to be a little breezy. And, you know, that breeze will blow all day and keep the lakefront a little cooler. The one thing that happened overnight is we had some showers and thunderstorms roll through. And check out this beautiful time-lapse of the sunrise this morning over Lake Michigan. Those clouds that you see in the sky there, those are the leftover clouds from thunderstorms that impacted southern Wisconsin and the far west and northwest suburbs early this morning. In fact, let me show you the satellite radar review from overnight. We had these showers and thunderstorms come through parts of the area. This generated a heat burst right over us here in Chicago. So what is a heat burst? Well, around 3:30 this morning, there were storms out towards DeKalb, and we had blow-off clouds from those storms right over top of us here in Chicago. And sometimes when the setup's just right, those blow-off clouds that come off those thunderstorms that were right over top of us here in Chicago around 3:30 in the morning, you can get a pocket of air up in those clouds to start to sink. And as that air sinks, it warms. Air warms as it sinks. And so what happened at Chicago Midway Airport here, at 3 o'clock this morning, it was 72 degrees. 50 minutes later, it jumped up close to 80 degrees because of that sinking air, which is warming as it sinks, boosted the temperature up. It also kicked up the winds. We had an official wind gust at Midway to 38 miles per hour, but nearby, one of the reporting sites in Cicero had a 50 mile per hour wind gust from that heat burst, and then it dropped to 73 at 5 o'clock in the morning. So if you've been driving early this morning, you might notice some leaves and maybe some small branches on the ground and on the road from those gusty winds we had early this morning. That was because of that heat burst, something that doesn't happen very often. Well, now at the moment, we've got this cold front sliding through the area. Temperatures south of the front are in the mid to low 70s. North of the front, we're in the 60s, and that northeast wind behind the front will keep things cooler today than what we saw yesterday. It's all dry right now on live Doppler 7 Max radar, and there you can see a little bit of the cloud cover with us. As the front sags southward, I cannot completely rule out an isolated shower developing in our far southern counties later this morning into the early afternoon, but the vast majority of us will stay dry today, and with those winds coming out of the north and northeast, we look for cooler conditions at the lakefront, a little warmer the farther inland you go. But the waves, they're going to be kicking later today. 5 to 8 foot waves on Lake Michigan with strong rip currents, really discouraging you from swimming today at the lake because of those higher waves and the rip current risk. So in our temperature forecast, as we head towards the lunch hour, we'll be in the upper 60s and low 70s at the lakefront. Inland areas rebounding into the mid to upper 70s, maybe close to 80 degrees, but then the lake breeze will push a little bit farther inland as we head through the afternoon. Isolated morning rain to the south here this morning, then partly sunny, a high of 76. Tomorrow we're up to 80, then we're back into the heat and humidity Tuesday through Saturday with a little unsettled weather, off and on thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday.
Let's hope that rain later this week isn't too bad.
Yeah, I hope not. We could get some heavier storms, though, so we'll watch it.
All right. Thank you, Larry.